Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Yo, hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Connor Folse's current 76 for 4-Colour Loam. This deck has moved away from the red splash. Typically the deck was a non-blue deck, but as you can see, the deck has transitioned into a 4-color deck without red. So we have cards like Uro in the main deck as a Green Sun's target, Leovold, which is cool, Teferi as just another really disruptive planeswalker, Stifles, which are always really fun to play, Whale of the Forgotten, which I think was a pretty underappreciated card at the time of it coming out. It's seen play, I've seen it in some of the blue-black Scam and Death Shadow lists. It has a lot of text to it, so we will read this one. So to send 8, choose 1. If there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard as you cast a spell, choose 1 or more instead. And it's return target non-land permanent to its hand, so an Echoing Truth effect or a Brazen Burrow effect. Target player discards a card, and then look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. It's a pretty cool card. It has 3 modes, just like with the Bloom Command, which is also in this list. To support the blue, we have a Tundra, a Underground Sea, and a Trop. And then also the Otawara and the Cephalid Coliseum. Cephalid pretty spicy because it does combo with Leovold, which is really nice. And then also to some extent Orcish Bowmasters, making your opponent draw 3. Because I believe this is target player draws 3 cards, then discards 3 cards, which is pretty sweet. In the board we have access to Blue Blast, Hydro Blast, which is really nice. I said those backwards. And Lavinia, which is a really cool hate bear. I think probably the most underplayed hate bear for how strong it is in Legacy. It is a little bit niche, but when you do read it, you realize how many cards in Legacy actually do this. Even if it is something like a Fury, whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. It's pretty sweet. A card that I think would do pretty well in like a Bant Maverick list, but we're not on Maverick tonight. We're talking 4-Colour Loam. I think the one key part of mastering this deck is definitely understanding the mana base. So here we have a 27 land deck with 4 Mox Diamonds, which really help. But to give you an understanding of the mana base, we have 2 lands that produce 0 mana in Maze of Ith and Dark Depths. We have 6 lands that produce colorless mana, and we have 8 lands that produce only 1 color. So that's 16 of the 27 lands, over half, produce either 1 or no colors, which is pretty insane. So when it comes to fetching, you really have to be on top of what you're fetching for and what your plan is going forward over turns and what you're casting. Because you could be doing something like Stifle into with a Bloom Command into Endurance. So you need blue, you need black, green, and then you need like double green as well. One thing to note as well, Misty doesn't fetch Scrubland, Verdant doesn't fetch Tundra, and Windswept Heath doesn't fetch Underground Sea. So you can really tell that a lot of time and effort has gone into the mana base, but you need to know this before you play it, because you don't want to get stuck in a position where you need one of those jewels and you have the incorrect fetch in hand where you could have used that earlier on to find something. So that's definitely key. You could say some of these are pretty much spells, like Boseiju. Sometimes we will be actually using the channel effect, same with Otawara to bounce. So that's really interesting. I've kind of set it up to be utility lands, mana base, what we want to be doing on turn 1 most likely, either Mox into Loam or Mox into Library. We have our Green Sun's targets. The way to win this game is most likely going to be through Big Knights, maybe a Depths end stage, Probably a mix of all of these, just putting immense pressure on our opponent through different avenues. We have kind of our planeswalkers, and Bowmaster to me is kind of like a mini planeswalker. And then we have a removal. So we have a lot of ways to remove things, which is nice. And the stifles will be interesting, especially when knowing what to go after. Like if we have the wastelands, maybe going after fetch lands, or you know, keeping them for storm, ETBs of things like Stoneforge Mystic. That'll be pretty key. But yeah, the sideboard, obviously the ley lines for graveyard, Force of Vigors, and the Oof for the artifact and enchantment decks. Force of Despair is really cool tech. I think this is great against the Goblins deck, obviously with Muxus. Probably any sort of scam deck, potentially. I wouldn't mind getting rid of something like a Troll. You do have to pitch a card early on, but once you're at 3 mana, which isn't too hard for us, you can, of course, just hardcast this, which is really nice. We then have a Sheoldred. I don't believe I played with Sheoldred on the channel. I could be wrong, but obviously a very key card in a lot of formats. And here it's no different. Just a nice grindy card that we can protect with things like Karakas, which is cool. Lavinia and Hushbringer. I could see the Thrall. If it is out on Card Hoarder, I actually should check. Because I think the Thrall is actually better. And I believe Connor Folse said it, especially if we do get Thrall online, he will just make the clean transition. It's not online yet. Doorkeeper Thrall. Okay, well, let's do something. I could try to get it in a chest. Well, let's go for that. I think you can get them in chests right now. Where are we? See, I assume they're not in these little packs. No. Some cool stuff. We have 5 chests. Alright. Come on, Thrall. Doesn't... Oh, we get the Hushwing Griff. Oh, so close. So close. That's all good. Oh, a Tiebinder. That's pretty sweet. That's probably actually worth something. Well, that's all good. Hushbringer will be, yeah, it'll be great to see when Hushbringer is online, and potentially when the other card, Thrall, would have been better. Be cool to have that. We also have Saga. So Saga is another way to win, which is really nice. We just have the Mox Diamond for that, which is fine. It's not really a Saga deck. We don't have things like a Shadow Spear or a Graveyard Hate Piece. So yeah, I think the issue might be for the stream is taking our time, making sure we're fetching the right lands and casting the right spells and having a plan, and also beating the clock, because this deck does grind. So we'll see how that plays out. Hey Bob Squeezy, welcome. A huge thank you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your coffee. Okay, play points. Connor Folse, nice. Play, very cool. Right, we're on the play up against Runcore, so most likely Elves, and this hand is pretty good against Elves. We have a Mox Diamond start, which is great, so pretty happy to keep this. We don't have, like, I'm not sure if I want to pitch both Moxen. I probably want to hold one and then just play turn 1 Scooze and hold the Wasteland potentially. I mean, if we could go turn 1 Scooze, turn 2 Bowmaster their creature, and then Wasteland them, I'd be pretty happy with that. If it's something like a if it's something like a Elvish Reclaimer, we have the Prismatic Ending. Oh, apologies. There we go. Gameplay. Nice. Alright. Pitch Boseiju. I guess we play the Wasteland here. And play the Ooze. This is kind of a 6 with the Mox Diamond, but we'll see how that plays out. Forest to Light Halfling. Okay. Pretty happy about that, because we do have extra land here, which is nice. which means we could play the Mox and then pitch the Catacombs. One thing to think about is potentially a Green Suns for Oof could actually hurt us. So I don't mind playing the Verdant here, and then just Prismatic Ending on the Halfling after damage, and then hold up the Bowmaster. One thing I didn't play around there was Invigorate. Hey Arnie, welcome. Which they could definitely have. I've seen Invigorate tech a little bit. Lair of the Hydra. Okay. Reclaimer, sure. Double Reclaimer. Okay. I don't really want to do anything here. I think I'd rather hold the Bowmaster, which is tough. Whale. Okay. It is a sorcery. It's tough. If I am casting that, I'm probably just taking a land so that I can hold up the Bowmaster. Playing the Lair makes me think they have a Cradle in hand as like a Wasteland play. Let's have a quick think. I do want to get rid of this because if we let them untap with Reclaimer, they can just sack it in response. So I'm definitely doing this. I don't mind looking at the top three. So I think here we'll fetch up probably the Bayou. Blue, Bayou. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. The knight would be a 1, 2, 3, 5, 5. We need to get a land off it as well. I think we take the land just in case we drew into a 3-drop. And I probably just hold it because if we draw into a land off the top, we can just pitch it to Mox. But have a quick think. I could also eat with the Ooze, so maybe actually playing the Mox here, pitching the Otawara is relevant. Also potentially keeping the Reclaimers off being 3/4s is also nice. Okay, that's great. Wow, we're gonna miss a land drop here. That's pretty huge. Alright. Let's make this bigger. Eat the knight. There's nothing like Savine's Reclamation here, so there's no way to get that back. A 1-mana spell would be great. Knight's pretty good. I feel like they might have a Cradle and they're holding the Cradle. Maybe they wouldn't hold the Cradle. See, holding the Cradle for natural order. Pretty happy just to get this out of the way now. And then probably just eat it and attack for 4. Okay. Well, now over 2 turns they could get a Cradle. But thankfully we're still at 19, which is pretty fresh. Moxon's not great. Start with the attack. Knight's actually fantastic as well, because if they natural order for a Traxxas, we do just have Karakas to remove it. Thankfully, like, just a Cradle Hoof we're not too scared of here. They currently have 3 mana, so yeah, it could look pretty tough for them here, especially with 3 mana open. Okay, there's no real point playing this. Thankfully, we can also turn these off from being big creatures. Just in case they are playing Bojuka Bog main, I don't want to like attack with the Knight. I think probably getting rid of the Cradle in upkeep, in their upkeep, is best, so that at least they use their mana in their turn and one's tapped. So maybe actually having the extra green source is best here. Okay. So go to their turn and go to their upkeep. They might even try to use Reclaimer here, or Endurance. Okay. Maybe they'll target us, that's fine. So we let that happen. They have no mana floating. So let's eat a land of theirs. And then sack the Bayou. Get a Wasteland. Ooh, okay. Okay, so there's actually another line here that might actually be better. Getting Blast Zone. Blast Zone's pretty sweet. Blast Zone takes them off 2 Reclaimers, leaves them with the Cradle. I actually really like Blast Zone here. We don't get rid of, we don't lose anything. Like, is there a world where they could I think they could hoof us next turn. If they have another Cradle and natural order in hand, they'd get +4/+4, which is pretty huge. So I think actually Blast Zone's correct. Three. This way they can't just get there with a the hoof. Or get there with Cradle and yeah. Okay. We'll never know. But we are looking at Elves. So what don't I like against Elves? I'm not a big fan of Uro. I think Uro's a little bit, we're not going to be like, what's the word? It's a bit too like mid-range for me, where this is going to be pretty quick. Like, I like the Agent, I like the Teague, I like the, I don't mind the Force of Despair, the Hushbringer and the Containment Priest look great. It's not a Leyline version. It's not a red spell. Sheldred's not worth it. The whale's a little bit tricky. I kind of like just like dulling down some decks post board and just knowing what I'm about. I'm not typically a fan of going down on lands in a 27 land deck with Mox, but I could see one potentially. I like the Moxen, especially on the draw. Leovold. Yeah. Leovold is pretty much just covered by Orcish Bowmasters. I'm trying to think. Like there's a world where they target our creatures and we draw a card off it, but I could definitely see that being there. Endurance isn't that great. Like Ren again is just one of those lands or one of those planeswalkers where it's a bit too mid-rangey for me. I don't mind like one library because they can be quite aggressive. This is 60, so we do have one more card to bring in. It could be endurance. What's the point of endurance? Like keeping, I think we have multiple ways at keeping their reclaimers from being small, and like blocking Atraxa isn't that great. I think Stifle has enough sort of relevance in like their natural order targets. Potentially them using a reclaimer, being able to stifle that is pretty key. It's kind of like a strip mine. I think it has enough application. Sylvania. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with mana. That's kind of cool against natural order because of Cradle and also Green Suns, I guess. We might try that. Kind of like having so many 2-drop hate bears for this matchup, where they all do different things. But Lavinia versus Cradle is quite nice because it means they can't just put a bunch of creatures on the play that don't make mana and then try to get there. Okay, we have a turn 1 library, and we have all our mana. So this hand, although being a pretty land-heavy hand, is not the greatest. It's not the worst either. I've seen my opponent, or at least I've seen Elves playing Orcish Bowmaster as well, which is tough. We don't have a great way to get Threshold for Cabal Pit. It's very much reliant on just the Sylvan Library though, so I kind of like mulling this. It's a little bit like a Metamorphose or like a Bauble hand, where you're not too sure what that card could lead into. Yeah. This is much better. I'm happy to keep this. We have turn 1 removal or hold up Stifle. We can bottom a Knight here, and then just have a nice clean curve as well. So pretty happy to keep and bottom a Knight. I think we're probably favored against Elves. I think the deck having so much removal is really nice, and then also just subtle interaction with things like Natural Order. Find a Grist. Okay. Interesting. Oof. Okay. Windswept Heath sadly can't... Okay, this is actually a really good position where we want to get probably Underground Sea with this fetch, but we can't. If we wanted to hold up Stifle, we would have to get Trop or Tundra, which doesn't turn on Bowmaster, which is pretty tough. I could also take the turn to play the Arbor. Like if I'm playing these two lands first, then I'm not really finding a time to play the Arbor. A little bit tricky. Especially if they're a Bowmaster deck. If they go turn 1, 2 Bowmaster next turn on the Dryad Arbor and then follow that up with Grist. Ugh. I think it is Windswept, and then we'll see what they do on their turn. if something is worth stifling, or move towards the Bowmaster plan. Really depends on the threat they play. Hey Casey, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, okay. That we're probably going to Prismatic Ending. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. Okay. Creatures you control with +1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Soul Cauldron. Okay. Exile target card from a graveyard. When a creature card is exiled this way, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. So they can get rid of this for the night. A little bit annoying, but not the worst. Mox. Okay, that's actually fantastic. That's a great reason to hold the Dryad Arbor as well. So I think what we might do is play the Savannah, get rid of this, and then at least... That's only target card. I kind of want the Dryad Arbor for Scavenging Ooze potentially. So I think in that spot we're going to play Savannah. Fetch for Trop. And then we have the Mox Diamond for the black. Or the Stifle. Just a little bit annoying. Okay. And then I kind of hope that they have a fetch land for their black source for Grist the following turn. And we can potentially stifle that, then untap and play the Knight, then get rid of the insect token with Bowmaster, then attack Knight into Grist. That's the plan at least. Stifle, Knight, Grist, insect, Bowmaster, the insect, Knight, attack. Okay, fine. Probably just Reclaimer. It could also be the Delighted Halfling. Yeah. Ooh, fetch land. Nice. Okay. So the tough part about Knight here is if we tap out for Knight, they could fetch for Dryad Arbor, and then next turn Grist, sack Dryad Arbor, kill the Knight. We do have Stifle for the land though. They could also get rid of the Delighted Halfling with the Grist. Grist is just tough on a lot of access. Oh no, we can actually stifle the Grist activation. There we go. So that's like small things, but like talking through the lines is really nice because it just allows you to like finally get to the stage where like, no, you can stifle the Grist activation. So I think we play the Boseiju. Green. I might hold up the Trop here. No. Like we could be holding up crop rotation for whatever my opponent thinks. They did find Grist with Once Upon a Time, correct. So I think we allow them to... Oh, they didn't fetch. Okay. I thought they might have fetched for Dryad Arbor end step, but... Here we are. Okay. So they play the Grist. Do they try to neg? Even if they tick up, we have the Bowmaster to make them... Yeah, if we can draw like a fetch land off the top, we can stifle the activation to get a Dryad Arbor. They're going to get Dryad Arbor here and try to sack that, I think. Which is just, this works out pretty perfectly. Yeah. Cradle, okay. 2 mana. Oof. See, that's the one reason why I was like, maybe we don't use them. Like, I should have used the Mox. I wasn't thinking of just normal oof. That's, yeah. I was like, maybe I'll hold up the trop. Damn. They change phase. Damn. Tough. Oh, we can kill the Grist here though, which is nice. So let's go. No, we can't because the black. Wow. Really? Yeah. Okay. What we can do is play the Night Out. Natural order in the bin. Hey Bart, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. I was, yeah, the Mox Diamond Collector Oof was still like in the back of my mind. Obviously, I think should have been something to think about. Oh, Swords is actually pretty perfect because we get to Swords the Oof, turn on Plow, I'll turn on Bowmaster. Hey, thanks, iStar. All credit goes to Connor. He's a pretty huge resource for the Loam community. I'm trying to think if we do it now. We can do this all at instant speed if we really want to. But I also want to get rid of the Cradle, most likely. So I think we go Swords on Oof. Now it's interesting. We're definitely taking out this. There's no way we're not taking out this. Turns this into a 3/4, but that's fine. Wasteland. Yeah. Hit Cradle. Make 3 mana. Oh, Endurance. Okay, well now I'm very happy that I didn't run into that. We did have the Stifle for it, but that's really awkward if they do that. Okay. I think we do just get rid of the insect here. It's just a little bit too annoying. And I don't want them... Yeah. Especially for Cradle. Also, big shout out to Runkle. Always nice to run into them and like talk a little bit. That's always really cool. Huge fan of their success with Elves. But yeah, you can see here in this first game, as we talked about before the matches, time. We're 6 minutes down. Attacking with everything. I could double block this, but I think I'd rather have the bodies. Just to try to take this Grist out. This is 7 a turn, which isn't nothing. They have 1 card in hand. So tick up. I think we stifle this. Stop them from having the token. Nothing. Okay. Teague is kind of cool. Can they make this a creature? No, thankfully. There's no reason to play the Teague first, I believe. So let's go attack Grist, attack Grist. Get Grist off the field. Nice. And now we play the Teague. Teague blocks the Halfling really nicely. Once. Okay. But yeah, a little... Oh, okay. Cradle's really nice. Thankfully, Teague stops both Natural Order and Green Suns. But the Lair of the Hydra is kind of impressive here, just by itself. Like another swing with everything. Like these two are like, we're blocking one thing. This doesn't have trample, does it? No, thankfully. What's this? Okay, yeah. This is for 10. Right. Take 6, go to 6. Ooh. It's not great. I think here we just pass. Could turn off the Cradle, but I also want to be able to block with the Knight. And I'm not too scared of the Cradle with Teague in play. It's only the Lair, and we can deal with the Lair with a Wasteland. Maybe there's a world where they don't attack with the Reclaimer and then hold up the land we Wasteland. But that'd be a little bit awkward because I'd have to hold back probably the Halfling in this land and just use the Cradle to make this a creature, but it's not big enough anyway, so... Okay. Yeah, 1 card. I think it's just the Bowmaster here. Then we can get rid of this Trop for a fetch land end step. I mean, Saga is kind of cool. That also makes a 2/2 construct. Not that great, actually. Blast Zone's definitely interesting. Get rid of 3 creatures. I actually really like that. Yeah. Wow, Blast Zone in this matchup has been it. Blast Zone in this matchup has been really, really good. It's a 3-for-1. Will they use the Reclaimer? The one thing we don't have now is... No, they don't. Okay. So Loam's a live draw. Green Suns is not. We can attack with Teague. That's not doing much for us, so we might as well take out the Cradle here. I think that's the card we care about the most. The Lair is not the worst. We also have a 5/5 Knight now. I'll also make sure I speed up a little bit this game because we do only have 8 minutes left if there is another one. Fiend is pretty sweet. Sadly, we don't have Force to Despair up either. We pass with Bowmaster up, but we might also try to use it with the Force. Like, if we could get Bojuka Bog online and get rid of the Fiend, that would be sweet. We might also be in a position where we want to block with the Gadok Teague, just to turn on the Green Suns. Probably not, though. Two mana. Fiend. Okay. I think in that case we have to... Oh, they don't attack? Okay. I think in that case we have to Force of Despair, get rid of the Bowmaster. Just to trade for that Fiend. Try to get a land in play so we can get a Bojuka Bog going. Witherbloom command, wow. Destroy target non-creature. Okay. Oh, but we can... Okay. What we can do is... Witherbloom cast. We mill and target creature gets -3, -1. So we mill. This gets -3, -1. We get back the Trop. Play the Trop. Get rid of the Trop and then get Bojuka Bog to finish off the Fiend Artisan. Nice. Now we will take a hit here from the Endurance, but pretty happy to take the 3. Hey, True Hero. Hope you're well. What did you play against? A big thank you for rating the channel. Very much appreciated. Are you going to Magic Fest Amsterdam? Because that'd be cool to see you there. Hopefully, if things line up. Okay, that's kind of cool. No great attacks just there. Yeah, it's nice to do that. We did get rid of a Snuff Out. Stifle. Okay. Grist is pretty sweet. Can't do much about that. Yes. Am I doing anything with the Knight here? I think I just have to get Maze of Ith here. So probably just fetching for Forest. At least we have a lot of colors on. Sadly not coming to LobsterCon, but it does sound a lot of fun. I think at 5 minutes 50, I'll make, sorry, 5 minutes 30, I'll make the call if we should just concede and try to play a third game. Okay. Yeah, I think in all honesty, we don't have a much to do in this game, that we do just have to go to a third. Okay. I'm not gonna change anything, I don't think. The question is, like, if I want to win quicker, should I change it at all? I don't think so. The other library on the play is kind of nice. Potentially a Thoughtseize. Right. This is Loam Boy's list, correct? It's a bit of an odd one. We can't actually cast these with the current mana, so I'm pretty happy to mulligan this. This is pretty slow. It's like land into Dryad Arbor into Grist. Okay, I actually don't mind this. Keep this, bottom the Forest and the Ooze. And just go with Hushbringer into Night. Nice to have all colors online as well, which is great. Dryad. Okay. It's pretty nice. The Dryad makes me think they have a Grist. Hey McSalmon, welcome. Hope you're well. Okay. This is fine. Still haven't seen the Grist, which is kind of good. Get to attack with the Hush. And then probably play the Knight. I don't want to Grist just yet. Hey McSalmon, very cool. Very happy. A big thank you, I should say, for the YouTube support. Very, very cool. I've been enjoying it too, so it makes two of us. Okay. Mox isn't great because of the oof. Do you get to attack? There's no like endurance here, which is nice. I'm a little bit weary of like Cradle into Natural Order, but we can't really like get rid of the Grist here to kill the Reclaimer, to only lose it to the Dryad Arbor. Feels like a really poor trade that I kind of need to see if the Grist can survive at least one turn and then go from there. We just, my bad. Obviously should have picked that up. tough. Wouldn't change too much. They could still kill the... Oh, I guess they couldn't kill the Grits if we tick it up. Unless they have a fetched land. No, because then we just block the Reclaimer. Yeah. But yeah, double Snuff Out is really tough. There is the... Yeah. Tough. That's definitely the Elves start you should be ready for. Because there's not much... Yeah, not much we could slow down there. But yeah, really, really good. Turn on Acceleration. Turn to Oof and Reclaimer. Snuff Out. Snuff Out's very cool. Just talking to Rancor then. Teague does stop Natural Order and Green Suns and also can't be hit by Snuff Out, which is really cool. And I should think about it a little bit more. It's like one of those cards that isn't hit by Snuff Out, but is hit by Dismember. There's definitely a few cards in that realm. Okay, pretty happy to keep this. A little bit slow, but not too bad. Gonna lead on Savannah, unless we get, if we want to get Wasteland, we get to hold the Black Source for Bowmaster. We don't want to play the Boseiju just yet, in case they're on something artifact based. That's a little bit unfair. So I think Savannah into Bayou Bowmasters, hopefully fine. Mountain. At least now, if they are going to be a Blood Moon deck, we can hold up Boseiju here, which is nice. Cavern. Goblin? Okay. Chrome Mox. Is Mind Goblin a 1/1 or a 2/2? Sticker Goblin is a 2/2. Rough. Okay. So I could, like, if I really wanted to, we could Boseiju the Chrome Mox in response, but then they just get the mana anyway, so... Mind Goblin. Broadside. Okay. It's not too bad. Kind of annoying, but... Guess we can kind of force them to throw the Chrome Mox. Because Bowmaster pings it, and then we could double block. Oh, they allow for the double block. Interesting. So that's going to... Okay. That kind of makes sense. Grist next turn, I guess. Whale. Interesting. I think it is Grist tick up. Yeah, we don't have blue yet. Okay. Hey, Pigeon. Legacy is treating me fantastic. As a fair player, I am really enjoying Legacy at the moment. I think it's like an abundance of decks. And I think that if you are like a specialist within a deck, you're doing pretty well as well. Alright, there's name sticker. There's 4 mana. It's pretty good. Oh, and the other Chrome Mox to probably put down Muxus. Yeah. I don't think we can come back from this. The Hushbringer's cool. Lavinia, like the Blue Blast, are obviously great. The Force of Despair is exactly what this deck is for. The Oof and the Force of Vigors are interesting because of, especially Blood Moon. I probably like the Forces instead. The libraries are a little bit weak. The whales are a little bit weak. Like the endurance, the Ren. I guess if they... I'm not sure how layering works with Blood Moon in this. Bojuka Bog can come out. That's a pretty easy one. I'm actually not sure. I think Muxus isn't a May. It could be a Loam. I don't mind how this is looking. This really is interesting. I actually really like this. Non-creature, actually. It does counter a few things. Pyrokinesis, Fury, Chrome Mox. Like, is that better than potentially Leovold? Containment Priest is pretty good as well. Yes, you are correct. I don't mind the Thoughtseizers. It could just be the Loams, to be fair. Like, they're most likely on just mountains plus the Ancient Tomb decks, or Ancient Tomb sort of lands, but like Teferi. Yeah. Like Agent's kind of cool, but probably not. Ren has been super good. That's cool. I always like hearing that. Oh, okay. Well, this is not going to happen, but this is definitely pretty funny. All right, chat. I'm going to mulligan, and you're going to tell me if I'm going to keep this hand right now. There we go. Is this a keep? And what are we dropping? Look, I don't think it's all that bad. We have the Dark Depths to put into play if they have a moon effect. The Blast Zone's a little bit slow. Stifle's pretty good. I don't mind the Stifle. I feel like this is a test I didn't study for. I feel like the odd card out is potentially the Dark Depths, to be fair. Like, Blast Zone over time is decent. It's actually not that great. Like, if you're using Blast Zone to hit Lackey, that's a little bit slow. It might actually be Blast Zone. Like, Dark Depths is the way to win. And I think just because of this, we're leading on the Tundra. Because we can't fetch for Underground Sea with this. Which does open us up to not being able to get the Forest in response. But we do have Force of Vigor. We don't have a great way to deal with a Blood Moon through just green. Stifle's pretty cool, yeah. Just Mountain, okay. Ooze, okay. Happy to pass with both Orcish and Stifle open. Ancient Tomb. Rabble Master. Okay. Not the worst. As we do just get to ping this guy. Or ping the goblin, I guess. So let's fetch for probably Bayou. I think it is Bayou. Bayou. And then we can play Ooze next turn if we want. Or honestly, definitely Wastelanding. Depends on what we draw. Okay. I was going to say we could Ooze and also Stifle. And like Ooze, hold up, Stifle. But I like Wasteland this turn. Pass with double block on Rabble Master. Holding up Stifle. And then next turn play the Ooze. Depends if they play another Tomb. Kevin not so scared about. Honestly, the best thing for Ooze might just be that it pitches to Force of Vigor. Three mana. Okay, so it comes into play and then trigger. We get to stifle that. See how they want to attack. There's no blocks here. Really want to have both of these for this Rebel Master. Oh, there's a Force of Vigor. Okay, that's pretty interesting. This is kind of tough because this is kind of the plan to get them if they are on Blood Moon, which makes me kind of just want to play the Wasteland but not Wasteland them, but that's pretty greedy. They did just use a Simian Spirit Guide, so I probably don't mind getting the Ooze into play. Like, we do have other green cards to draw into anyway, so let's take out the Cavern, play the Ooze. This is pretty tough against Fury, because then we just lose everything, but yeah, I think like them destroying into like another mountain into Namestick is pretty tough. Yeah. Now we're taking a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2-turn clock. Yikes. Tough. Not too much we could do there. Maybe Lavinia is worth it just because of its interaction with like Fury and Pyro. Probably is, especially Chrome Mox as well. Turning off Chrome Mox is huge, especially if they kept a hand with like Soul Land Chrome Mox as their red source. But yeah, definitely a tough one. We have a lot of interaction, but you got to find it as well. Like Blue Glass, Swords, Bowmasters not too bad. What have I been playing in paper? What have I been playing in paper? I played Cloudpost last week at Legacy, which was really cool. And then the week before that, Naya Depths. Week before that, Abzan Maverick. A lot of green decks, but I wouldn't mind sinking my teeth into like Jeskai. I have a Jeskai like control deck, which has like Fourth Lingus, and then of course also Triumph of St. Catherine, which is pretty sweet. Turbideps as well. Turbideps with Invasion of Icaria has been pretty cool. It's a 2-lander with a lot of interaction. I feel like 1 land, we're into fairy range as well. I'm pretty happy to keep this. Like, Bowmasters is so strong. It's kind of sad that, yeah, Underground Sea, play Mox, pitch the Maze, pass. Yeah, Beans can be pretty tough. It's always tough dealing with cards like Beans. That's why I like Orcish Outland Liberator, because it can flip and hopefully take out a Beans before you go about your day. Not having to spend a card on Beans is where you want to be. And that's what Outland Liberator flipped accomplishes, which is nice. Wow, they're in a 4. Oh, this is going to be Cephalid. Okay. Wow, they forced the Bowmaster. They kept a one-lander. Well, we're definitely doing it again. I waited to try to hit a creature. Obviously that didn't happen, but... I mean, if they're missing land drops, and now their cantrips are going to make our creatures bigger, oof. Nice. Blue, white, Tef. Okay, this is probably just ticking down. To get that card value, just keep digging. Okay. Alright, they have a spell. Seems like we're in a really strong position. Like even a Stoneforge here I'm not too scared about. They play a Cephalid. Okay. Interesting. Pick this up. Swords a Cephalid. What do they mill? Well, they mill the Dread Return. So if we can get that, I'd be pretty happy. If we could draw Scooze and eat the Dread Return, it's very hard for them to win. I guess they could try to go for a Saga plan. Having the Stifle here is nice. Okay. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Pick up. Definitely hitting this. And I think we're holding up the Stifle here. Actually, we can't even cast the Knight given our mana base, so we are just passing it with Stifle open. That's actually pretty funny. Wow, another Cephalid. Okay. Green Suns. Ooh, okay. Sadly, we can't Green Suns for 2. Like, so close, but so far. Like, okay, so what we could try to do is bounce the Illusionist, draw into a land of any type, pitch Mox, and then be able to eat the Dread Return. Threshold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So close. Do I just bounce? Bounce Orc. That's pretty great. 1 force, 2 force. I love your line. I think we're just going to try that. Yeah, I think that's a great approach. Yeah. Stifle really doesn't do a whole lot because they can just keep going over that, so... Oh, we do the Wasteland? Wow. Play that. Play Bowmaster. Take out this. Yeah, that was a great line. Thank you, chat. That's true. We can hit the actual trigger of Oracle. That's very true. This is always a tough one because I feel like they obviously have the combo, which Leyline does turn off, but they also have a really good Stoneforge Mystic and Saga Plan B, which can be really brutal. So I do like the Leylines, but I kind of also like these cards. I'm not sure if I really want to respect the graveyard that much. Like, just say we have the answers to the creatures, you can have the graveyard shenanigans. Priest is interesting, that does interact, but it also stops our 1 Green Sun, so that's definitely a maybe. Hushbringer, Yeah, I guess like in the exact same way. It does turn off our own Bowmasters, which is tough. I don't mind like one Loam. The Whale is interesting, but I could see it on the cutting board. Uro can be good against the Saga plan potentially, but I could see it coming out. Endurance is obviously good. Scoos, libraries, even though they have their own orcs, we have stuff that we can bring in. Lavinia is definitely interesting. Like that stops if they keep in force. It stops dread return most likely. Shoulder's actually pretty baller. I kind of like that. Like Ren, not too worried about our mana base. Knight's still strong, especially against the Saga plan. I could see like just one Force of Vigor. I think the deck just has so many different tools that crosses all the strategies of Cephalid that it lines up pretty well. Like this hand is pretty great. Like we have all the mana in the world. We have a Saga plan if we want that. We can go Misty into Tundra to turn on Sword and Stifle. Tundra and then Bayou, which turns on pretty much all our colors. Like a Mox is pretty great here as well. Should go. Okay. So let's go Misty. Hey Sato-san, hope you're well. Big fan. Okay. Step 3. Can I stifle that? That's an activated ability, correct? Cycling? I think I will. Like, I'm pretty happy to time walk them pretty much. Tundra. Okay. I don't want to play the library just yet. I could wait for them to actually have the combo online, but I feel like that would take some time to get protection first. Oh man, okay. 2 halves. They could equip there, like just for free, but they don't. Mox, that's actually pretty sweet. Mox. Pitch the Dryad. Play the Saga, play the library, hold up Sword. I guess this gives them 2 ways to interact, which is a little bit tricky. There's nothing we could really do about like that. They didn't play a shuffle effect after the brainstorm either. There's their shuffle effect. They chose to shuffle. It's good for us. They play their own Saga. Not too bad. They equip the Shuko. So they actually don't have blue open. I am going to swords this anyway, so I might as well swords it now. Like Force of Vigor with green card would be huge here. No, but still pretty good. We do want to keep the interaction, so I think we actually just pay here. We could actually get rid of the Ooze, but I kind of like the Ooze, as it also controls the graveyard. Saga ticks up. And then we probably want to play the Ooze, but also have open Saga and also Sword, or also Eat. So we play the Underground Sea. We fetch for Bayou. It gives us double black in case we lose the Moxen for the Sheoldred. We could Sheoldred here, but I... Let's actually think. Like, how big is the token going to be? Not that relevant. He's getting Sheoldred down this turn where we want to be. Like, if they didn't have Cephalid on either of those turns, they probably have something like Sword Splash has in hand, so I'd probably rather the Ooze get swords. So we tap like this, play the Ooze, hold up Sword, hold up Mega Token end step. Oh, they're going to force it. Okay. Well, that's one less force they can have for the sword, which is great for us. They have 2 cards in hand. So the card off the top has to be a blue card or a force, and they have to have Cephalid, blue card, and force together. Teferi. Ooh. Okay. -1 Narco is a very important take. They bounce the Saga. That's interesting, because now they lose the Teferi, I believe. And we get to reset the Saga? Unless they have a Swords effect. Passing. Okay. Wasteland would be great. Taking off this Saga. Mox Boseiju. Boseiju's kind of cool. It's also a way to get rid of it. I'm actually pretty happy just to pay here. Go down to 2. I guess I am a little bit weary of I'm a little bit weary of Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, let's see if this resolves. Honestly, there's also a world here where we don't care. Hey, Sahar. I don't think we care about the Saga. I think here we want to play the Sheoldred, which allows us to hold up with the Mox Diamond, either Swords or Boseiju, because we have a legendary creature in play, which is pretty dope. They don't make a token, which is a little bit scary. Teferi. Okay. At least if they bounce the Mox Diamond here, they don't. If they try to go for it here, we just have hit the Shuko. They bounce the Sheoldred. Ooh, that's still... oh, wow. But yes, now we have to, because if the last card is the combo, then we just have to do it now. If the last card is Cephalid, yeah. So thankfully that got around Teferi's activation. Their own Sheoldred? Excuse me? I did not expect that. Did anyone else expect that? Was it the character arc we were supposed to expect? Alright, so we lose 2, go to 4, and we can't draw anything else. No. This goes to 2. Swords this. Attack to Fairy. Yeah, okay, that's really tough for them. So now we can either play the Sheoldred with Swords open, or we can hold up Saga with Swords open. So we're on the board, which is really nice. We couldn't upkeep... oh, could we upkeep Sword? I was thinking of the Teferi. But obviously the Teferi... yeah, I was thinking of the Teferi. Yeah, but Upkeep Sword would have been sweet, if possible. Yeah, Cephalid's always tough with Leyline, because a lot of the time you're like, it's a graveyard combo deck and Leyline just shuts that off, but even something like Teferi Bounce It, you're like, okay, well now I got to replay this Leyline somehow, so you always got to think about double black as well on your mana base. Hey, don't be sorry at all. There are definitely things like that that I miss, so it's always nice to bring them up. Cradle, Goblins, Breakfast. Do you have a place where I can see the 4-color Loam decklist you're playing? Yeah, there should be the Cardboard Live functionality, which is over here, I believe. It's a little like back of cards. I'll actually move it down a little bit. But you can click on that and it will bring out the Cardboard Live. But yeah, good mix of matchups. Maybe took a little bit too much time to just explaining things and like thinking about my lines against Elves and having to like concede game 2 to get some time in game 3, but it's part of learning. I do also have Cephalid in paper, so that would be kind of sweet. I guess one thing that Fairy gets around is Teferi, which a Leyline doesn't, because you can bounce it and Surgical gets hit by Teferi, so Fairy is actually quite good there. If you're a Once Upon a Time deck, typically Fairy is great as well. Ah, it looks like Punishing Mav. Interesting. Let me update that. On the play, this is a pretty tough hand. We have like, we can pretty much draw in. I actually don't mind this. Like, we have the mana online, and that's the big thing. So I'm pretty happy to keep this. Clear the deck. Stream Magic Online. 4-color. Into a pass. This is pretty much a 6 with the Dryad, and I would keep it as a 6. Especially if it's going to be like Reanimator. Petal. Mox Opal. Oh, maybe this is going to be Echo. I guess we have Stifle to draw into, which is nice. If they try to storm off without hand disruption. Nice. If you restart, if you refresh the page, I assume Cupboard Live will update, which is nice. This could also just be Beseech. Guys, well, I will endurance you. Lucky to have the Dryad Arbor. I don't think I was thinking about swordsing my own endurance there to go to 23 life. I don't think it's relevant, but Oh, wow. Hey, Geodude, welcome. These are definitely the starts you just have to take on the chin. Yeah. Nothing we can do there. Because even if we swords our own endurance, we take a life and we add a storms, that's 2. So we only gain, yeah, 1, but that's lethal anyway. I like the ley lines. The swords are an easy cut. Like the Uro, the Grist. Teferi's interesting. The Ren can go. The Snuff Out. Ending, I don't mind. But maybe it's over here. Making them discard. Interesting. Like the Loam's too slow. The Karakas. Like Maze of Ith. So much going. Like this. It's probably pretty much a 15-15. Like this, like this. Probably like the Elemental Blasts. Like 2 more. I think it is equal. Yeah, maybe I could have. I'm not too sure. I'm not too familiar with guys. I just didn't want to let it resolve. But maybe I should have taken a lot more, yeah, consideration for it. 63. I think 25 is probably the lowest I want to go on lands. And then probably a lot, probably 2. Yeah, the Loams are just. I don't think they will play empty. Like, Uro is life gain, which isn't great, but it's also a card that pitches. A no-lander, unfortunately. Oh, really awkward mana that really just relies on Leyline, which I really don't like. It's a bit of a trap hand. Okay. Oh, like we're not going down any further. I think we're keeping this and bottoming these 2. Like we're keeping the Leyline, we're keeping the Force and green card, we're keeping the Wasteland. And I think it just has to be Stifle. It's tough though. I think it's the Stifle. I don't even want to play a land. I don't want them fetching for a basic if they have one, or not even fetching. Okay. That's interesting. Kind of makes me want to play the Dryad Arbor now. Turns green on. Chose to shuffle, which is good for us. We get to Wasteland here. Still going for Wasteland. That's not a blue source. Okay. Just the petal. As if they're holding like up, like Echoing Truth, potentially. Stage. Potentially, if it comes to it, we could play the stage and see if we could copy a blue land, then untap with a blue source. I assume they also played the petal because they're already at 8 cards. So if they didn't play the petal, maybe they had to discard, and therefore instead of going towards Storm, they just played the petal to have the petal in play. It could be pretty easy to like overread that, when really it's just they didn't want to discard the petal, so they played the petal. Play the LED, but we still have the ley line, which is great. I'm not ready to force it just yet. I think just in case, I'm not going to get in their mana. I'm actually going to tap like this and just hold up Ooze as a just in case. But at least we have Force of Vigor on the line side diamond in case they try to bounce a Leyline in their turn. Right. That's never cool. Maybe they might add Noors. Red. Beseech. I guess that's a good reason to force as well. Yeah, turn off Beseech. Oh, okay. Well, can try to. Oh, okay. So I guess we allow them to draw 2, and then the Chrome Mox comes into play, and before it gets to tap for mana, before they get to imprint, we can force it and the song. So here. And just hope they can't go off in response with this pedal. Oof. Okay, not the worst. Okay. Come on, blue source. Okay. We can copy. That's going to be the play. Get just one more turn. Hmm. Yeah. That's true. I think I still should find... I still should make blue on the off chance that we draw into Stifle. Right. All right. Go to 8. I think I should have thought more about Force of Vigor turning off Beseech. That's for sure. But it's always tough if you force and then they bounce the ley line and then like sack the LED to put Echo in the yard. I guess they couldn't use the mana in upkeep, so maybe there's a thought there. But this is turn 7, so I assume they've had long enough without any sort of disruption to, yeah. Guess they could make a... Can they still go for Beseech? The Mox doesn't tap for mana, they have 2 black. 1 red or green. Relay. Okay, so going for next turn. Burning Wish, Chrome Mox, Brainstorm, LED. Ugh. Okay. Come on, deck. Ooh, is that good enough? I guess we'll see. Opponent could think we're doubling up on Dryad Arbor to have lethal next turn. Imprint Relay. LED. They kind of need to go for Boseiju, right? I'm trying to think if they have like a Burning Wish way to do it on such low storm already. Opposition agent is only, yeah, while they're searching their library. Echo. Okay. So they must have a bounce on the ley line. But then we have the... No, the ooze doesn't work because they just get... Okay. Wow. I don't know what happened there. I don't... They just probably forgot about the ley line. Wow. Wow, okay. There's a thought for the Prismatic Ending. Just because our opponent has shown to like just play out artifacts, even if things aren't going well. I think it's the Uro. Like the Knight's at least a Wastelands. The Uro, 3 life is 1 extra storm, which surely once you're going shouldn't be the biggest issue. Blasts, Muxus. Yeah. Not a great hand, especially on the draw. Like no ley line. I really want to have one of these into like a Lavinia or a Teague. Okay, well, we do have mana online. We can bottom the Knight here. And then if they really want to go for it, we have the Force. So I think we're keeping this. Bottom the Knight. And then we have turn 1 Bowmaster if that's applicable. Okay. Probably just Bowmaster here. Yeah, Stifle's pretty cool, especially against like Namesticker Goblin or Muxus if you really have to. Oh, that's never a great sign. Interesting they took the Green Suns when we might have the opportunity to draw into a green card here. Oh, we don't, but that's pretty good. Cast the Mox, pitch the Trop, play Windswept. I will fetch here, so they can't do something in response. I think we're just going to go for Bayou. That also gives me an extra black in case of ley line off the top over the next few turns. I don't think we stifle this, but it's really, really... Like, is there a world where they kind of go off without stifle being relevant? I mean, it definitely makes Wasteland a better draw. But is this really the fight we want to go after? I don't mind it. I think if we stifle here, we probably get another turn to play the Bowmaster and potentially another turn to draw into the like a green card for the Force. That's pretty good. Oh, but they... Okay. Ooh, Witherbloom. Okay. Honestly, right now, I think that's better as just a Force of Vigor card. Yeah. For sure. Yes, because you're not countering anything. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You're actually like just fizzling the trigger. So I assume that's kind of why. I think in response to the fetch, I'm pretty happy just to play the Bowmaster. It's not really doing a whole lot more anyway. Like, yeah, if they want to ponder, they can ponder. Nice, Sato Sam. I really want to play a green-white Maverick build that I've been playing around with 5 basics. Plays 3 forests, 2 plains. But it's tough as well. Because sometimes you actually just want your opponent to wasteland a Savannah. Especially when like maybe you have a knight in play, or you just feel like you're more ahead of your opponent in terms of mana. That them wastelanding you is actually kind of a good thing, because you're kind of like stopping them for a turn. Chose to not shuffle. Xantid Swarm, that's pretty cool. I think if they play another artifact here, I'll blow up the Mox Diamond, or the Mox Opal. Yeah. Just so this doesn't tap. This could be a relay turn. Yeah. Brainstorm. Song. It's pretty good. Brainstorm. Ritual. Okay. Those tendrils. It's pretty good. Can we find a collect Oof? Oof would be sweet. Teague. Not great. I think we're better off holding up the Verdant. I guess the songs and the Brainstorm are kind of switched off in a way because of Orc. I guess they could Veil though if they find a Veil. But I think at this stage while we're drawing 1 card a turn, Verdant in my hand as an unknown is better than in play. But hey, if you're watching this and you're not following the channel and enjoy this, definitely give me a little follow. I'd love it. You can also find me on YouTube, Twitter, Discord. But yeah, usually play Maverick or D&T. Alright, here we go. I'm just going to start with the song. The red floating. Alright. Misty. One more card in hand. I guess they can't Veil here unless they play... Like, they're taking 5 damage off the Brainstorm due to the songs. They're going to try to do like a mini Tendrils? 2 cards in hand and then these cards to play around with. Tendrils, Brainstorm, Brainstorm. I'm very fortunate they don't have the mana for green for another Veil to stop Bowmaster targeting them. I really hope they don't go to 1. I really hope I wasn't supposed to play this to have Dryad Arbor. That would be pretty bad. Tendrils, okay. Interesting. Tendrils for 4-ish? Buy some time. Wow, they will go to 1. And we'll have 9 power in play. Oh no, they'll go back up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to try to ritual again. Okay. Maybe they can storm off twice. Come on. I want to see a Brainstorm, coward. Come on now. I think they can probably get out of this. Wish. So I need like Fling. Fling would be kind of cool. Besiege guys, cast Tendrils, yeah. Oh, just another Tendrils. ponder. Take 3. They're looking for mana. Chose to not shuffle. Yeah, Bowmaster's pinging pretty hard. Ah, of course. I'm thinking that they're running out of cards, but of course every time that it's pinging, they're drawing 2 cards. So they pretty much have half their deck in their hand. I was like, where are they getting all these cards from? Obviously. There it is. But can they get there? They can obviously stop the Veil like this turn to try to draw into something, maybe that just then. They can't Thoughtseize, can they? They're at 1 life. Yeah, wow. Okay. We'll take it. Interesting. Interesting. Obviously, yeah, Thoughtseize isn't pay 2 life, so it's not like Grizzlebrand, I guess. It's yes. Alright, Eco. Here we go, last match. Finishing 3-2 would be really cool. On the draw, actually not too unhappy with this. Especially Witherbloom after Moxen is pretty sweet. Like if they go turn 1 creature, we get to kill the creature most likely. Or not get a turn, I guess? Well, we kind of have to Thoughtseize this turn. Oh, okay. I guess they're all kind of scary, but it's probably Namesticker that I'm most scared about. But Bombardiers is also pretty scary. It's actually an interesting point. Maybe it's the Bombardiers that I'm actually more scared of. We can kill the Matron next turn with the Witherbloom and get back the land we pitched to the Moxen. The Battlecry Golem we don't care about. Namesticker is obviously pretty good if they get all mana and then give everything haste, so I think it just has to be. And we just have to find an answer to the Bombardiers down the line. Yeah. I think it's just a little bit too scary. And at least if they play the Bombardiers this turn, they lose the city. Okay. Well, they sack the Matron. Smart. Guess we can play the Uro this turn. Could we play it off the Saga potentially? Grist tick up? No, the Bombardiers does that. I think it is Uro just try to draw. And I think this If we play the Saga, play the Mox, pitch the Tundra, Hero this turn, make a 2/2 the following turn, they kind of have to use the Bombardiers. I actually think the Saga is pretty good. From a mana perspective as well, we have the 1, the 1, the 1, so it's not really going to be halting us on our mana, which is nice. I think it is Saga. Cast Mox, pitch the Tundra. Green 1, blue. Do have a 3/3 Knight, but it's not that great either, because they can't just throw the name sticker at it. Oof. Sadly, that's just too quick. Play the Karakas. They attack with both and then just throw, so we have to get rid of this now, and we can't. Like, we can gain life, but that doesn't do anything. Okay. We can try to find... No. I was going to say we could try to find swords, but then we just deal with this and then we still lose 2. So Saga's offline. Grist is offline. Knight's offline. Yeah. Guess we might as well have a look. No master, no black. Yeah, tough. Probably expected. We like these, the Force of Despair, and these. Not a big fan of Leo, Whale, Libraries and Loams. Stifle's good, Thoughtseize is good, Bojuka Bog, Endurance. That's 61. I do want to play the Lavinia this time, especially with Fury. The Witherbloom's a little bit just meh. A lot of X2s in the deck, so I think something like this is fine. It's very hard to have like Agent when they have Matron, so I think we'll just leave the opposition Agent out. Lavinia is non-creature, but it also says whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. So it hits Pyrokinesis or Fury, and it also hits Chrome Mox, which I think is a little bit more than the cards we're taking out, which is nice. I think mana here is sadly just a little bit too, yeah. I guess we have turn 1 Hushbringer. Okay. Interesting. I don't mind that. But it's also like not much else going on. I guess we have all our mana. Let's get around Blood Moon. Gets around like turn 1 name sticker. I don't mind it. We'll bottom the... Probably want to keep the Arbor and put it down with a Mox Diamond. There's even a world where we just get rid of 1 Mox Diamond. I don't mind that. There's a world where the second Moxin is good because it turns on double black for Force of Despair. Okay. Is that a free Uro? That is a free Uro. That's kind of cool. Didn't think of that. That's just good deck building, Connor. All mana. Ooh, Shatterskull? Okay. Force, that's kind of good. We attack first. Put this into play. Pass with the Stifle open. Yeah. Holding up the Stifle's pretty sweet. I think I'm happy to stifle that. That's a lot of cards. So it's always interesting though, because if I stifle this and they play a Muxus, it's pretty bad. But like, there is a world where they don't really hit on the ringleader. Like, it's always like, this is kind of like Force of Will on Green Suns if they're getting Teague, but yeah, maybe it is just a case of maybe trying to draw into like a Wasteland on the Ancient Tomb. Go that route. The second Knight's kind of cool, because now we get to force in upkeep. Hey Fernandez, welcome. Hope you're well. Play a Knight, it's a 3/3, and upkeep just force the Moxin, or the Chrome Mox. They have 2 cards left. So in their 3 if it is Soul Land and then Big Man. Okay, wow. Well, that was cool. That was cool. Okay. Thinking it back. I think we're pretty happy with where we are. You just want to have cheap things to do. A Snuff Out would be fantastic, like 2 removal spells and a fetch land. Can you imagine that? Be pretty sweet. I actually like this hand. We have Moxin with double removal spell. Opponent's gone to 6 cards. Skirk. Okay. We can hit that with... Is it... Ooh. Is it greedy to Orcish that? I guess we could also Thoughtseize Blue Blast. What if we start with Scrubland Thoughtseize? And that gives us a good idea if they really need the Skirk or not. If we go Scrubland, we can then also hold up Blue Blast and Sword. Okay, so they have a lot of mana. So we will... There's a small line here where we can like win the game with Dark Depths if they brought in Blood Moon, where we can, with the Blood Moon in play the Dark Depths. It comes into play as a mountain with no counters on it, and then we Blue Blast using Mox Diamond, the Blood Moon effect, and then state-based actions are checked once it's left. Dark Depths has no counters on it, and therefore gives us a 20/20 transforms. But maybe it's better to move towards Mox Diamond pitch Depths. Or do I even need to play Mox Diamond this turn? Like there's, I guess, maybe Ringleader off the top is why I would want to hold up the Blue Blast. So they can't sack Mountain, Ancient Tomb, and have 4 mana. I think just to turn on 3-drops next turn as well, I do want to cast the Mox Diamond, and I do want to get rid of the Depths, unfortunately. Yeah, I think just being a little bit safe and cautious here is always good. I assume they play Tomb, because then they don't lose the city, and this also turns on Muxus off the top next turn. Hey, Robsy brother. We are responsible gamers. I think there's a lot of times where, especially streaming, you want to go for the more entertaining line. Okay. So they have one unknown hand. One unknown card, sorry. Like if the 2 unknowns are Name Sticker and... I think here we actually just play Wasteland. And then Orcish the Skirk, holding up Blue Blast the whole time, and then next turn potentially Teferi. But I could also see if they play... Yeah, I'm not gonna hit the Skirk. I'm gonna try to get this in combat after they've cast something a little bit greedy, but we do have the Blue Blast in case everything goes out of whack. Okay. This gives us a clock, which is nice. They play the Cavern. Okay. Thoughtseize. It's very greedy here to play the Teferi. I don't mind the Wasteland on the Cavern, which turns on Blast on Ringleader. They could have sacked it, correct. Yeah, they could have. I don't mind Thoughtseize here. Thoughtseize, potentially Wasteland them and hold up Blue Blast. Just a Moxin. Okay. So I know about these. Do we want to Wasteland them? Like, the land for us is also a big thing. But I think Muxus getting into play is just too good. Mountain. Smash. Do I care about this? Probably not, to be fair. I feel pretty like it's not even a real clock, so. Okay. Kind of want to draw 2 lands in a row so we can play Teferi with Hydroblast up. Well, they play the city. Okay. I think I'll take time to just blast this. Let's have a think. So blast is obviously great, unless they have a Cavern for things that ETB. But they have 0 cards in hand, so I think I'm happy to go down to 1 and 1 of the effect. Okay. Very reactive. I think actually Swords is correct, because Hydroblast is just so good against both Muxus and also Ringleader that you want to have multiples. This is fine. Just get to Swords this. They have 0 cards. Force of Despair, okay. I guess that means I'm probably happy to let a Muxus go. Battle Cry. Okay. Do I want to Swords this? Probably just to keep the board clear. Yeah. Yeah. If we draw a land, we have Force of Despair up next turn, and if we draw a land again, we have Teferi with Blue Blast open. Okay. So now we have Force up, which is great. Rabblemaster. We're fine with this. Destroy all creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. Cool. Come on, land. No, but it's only the big man that I is a greedy. We could also bounce and draw a card. We could also bounce and draw a card. So Teferi, tick down. Nothing. Oh, the land we did not want. All right, now we go. Now we go. Ooh, Matron. Ooh, okay, that's fine. They Muxus next turn, but we have the Mox Diamond for it. Yeah, as long as it's not Cavern. Rabblemaster. Ooh, nice. There we go. Alright, tick up. Play the Karakas. Hold up blast. One card in hand. Stifle. Kind of cool. Tick up. Stifle also quite relevant. That's really good against like a Muxus or a Ringleader. Opponent not attacking into the maze as well, just keeping time going, which is always nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. Tick up. Green. I do have to tap off that for this, but I think that's fine. Because this allows me to colors, yeah, lands you control have. I could return the fetch land, that's true. I think we allow this and we stifle what they try to do. Haste Menace. Hey Raj, really cool to meet you in at CanCon. I'm going to allow this and see what they try to do. Attack with just that. We untap it. They'd throw it. but I think we stifle that. Oh, to me? Okay. It's actually probably fine. I do want to get rid of it though at some stage. Okay. Guess we return draw. Okay. Mill 3, put a permanent from among them mills cards into your hand. Knight is pretty sweet here. And then we get to go Mox, Pitch, Underground Sea. 1, 2, 3, play Knight. It's a 6/6. Make counterbalance great again. Oh, here's Muxus boy. I could allow it, but pretty easy to blue blast. Let's mill first. Okay. Oh, it's only Windswept Heath? Oh, of course, it's from those cards. Cool, cool. Heath, play it. Fetch now. Get Dryad Arbor. And then we do have damage set on our turn. So we can attack with the Knight. Deal 7. And then untap it. Tick to ferry up and pass back. Nice. All right. We finished 3-2. Going down to goblins and going down to elves. Getting up against goblins, getting up against Tess, and getting up against breakfast. Which is kind of cool. Tess. But I feel like the Tess game, maybe under different circumstances, they could have like found the line. It's pretty lucky there. But this was sweet. You got to think a lot, as I said, about the mana base. For those of you who weren't here for the deck tech at the start, this deck is a 4-color deck which has 27 lands. 2 of those lands produce no mana in Maze of Ith and Dark Depths. 6 of those lands produce colorless mana. 8 of the lands produce 1 color. So that's 16 of the 16 of the 27 lands don't produce more than 1 color, which is crazy. So you really have to think about fetching. And just to go over it again, Misty can't get Scrubland, Verdant can't get Tundra, and Windswept Heath can't get Underground Sea. Yeah, this list was sweet. I really enjoyed it. There were... I'm trying to think if there were times where Hushbringer... Yeah, I guess if this was Thrall, it would have been good against Test because it does shut off Chrome Mox, which is really cool. So big thanks to that little pick. Hey Ari, thank you for the follow. It is bedtime though. It's nearly 11 p.m. I'll go work tomorrow. A big thank you for all of those coming in and watching. A big thank you to Connor and a big shout out to Connor Folse for all the work that he does within the Loam community. Very, very cool to see. Yeah, things are kind of lining up for MC Amsterdam, so we'll see how that goes. Would love to meet some European people. Not that I don't know any European people, but here we are. But yeah, the deck was sweet. I'm definitely going to come back to this. Hopefully with Connor on the channel again. He's been on the channel as a co-host a few times, including for the latest Green Sun Summit, I believe. Hushbringer doesn't stop Chrome Mox, but there's a new version in the new set, which does stop ETB effects from artifacts. Which I will quickly get up. Doorkeeper Thrall. which doesn't have lifelink, but it still has flying and it has flash, which is really good. So things that this stops that are relevant: the One Ring from getting the protection, Chrome Mox. It also stops the Jewel that draws 3 cards in the kind of like Mystic Forge style decks, which is cool. And then of course also creatures, which is sweet. So I think it's an upgrade. I think Flash and the artifact ability is much better than lifelink, so that's always cool. Yes, it is also another way to like mono white Phyrexian Dreadnought, which I think is really, really cool. But I'm going to see who else is streaming. A big thank you to the new followers and the new subscribers. I very much appreciate you. Interesting. Look, we have a Amulet Titan here player, so Amulet Titan player here. So I'm pretty happy to get into that. Thanks again. We'll catch you next time.